For August the 15th, 2014, we talk about Gamescom announcements, Crypt of the Necrodancer, and we ask you how you name your characters in video games. Welcome to the 71st level. My name is Cole Ross.
My name's David Maismith.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Hey, guys, it's good to talk to you again. It's been a little while.
Yeah. Like twice a while as it normally is.
Yeah, it's been twice the while, which is
wild
sad.
Times two.
Yeah. But we've been really good this year about hitting our marks on these shows, so that's good. It was just a scheduling thing. So we had, it was better to skip. Well, with Dennis being out because of the the baby and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we had missed like 8 more times, it could have been like a deca-while since we last spoke.
Yeah, no. If we miss 8 more times, the 10th total, the 10th one is free. By which I mean everybody pulls their Patreon. by which I mean this is no longer considered a show.
That's the cancellation anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
paper for that, or
pink paper. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is bizarre to like frame that up in a you or us being fired metaphor, because this is something we all do voluntarily.
And you would have to fire yourself.
I think that happens. I think that it's called a resignation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, language is weird, guys.
So if you ever start a business, that's the policy. Like, you can resign, but you have to fill out your own pink slip.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you have to break the news to yourself.
you just keep it in like a glass shadow box with a little metal rod attached to it that says "break in case of needing to get the fuck out of here." Break in case of debts. Yeah. Oh, it's all coming together now. I'll be in the 1% soon. I know it. Yeah. So Dennis is not here with us right now. He has baby stuff to attend to. However, he will be joining us a little bit later on in the night, and by that I mean hopefully here in about like 20 minutes or so. But time marches on. Professionals would have waited until he was ready, but I got to get my sleep on, dog. So.
Or people who don't value sleep would have waited until he was ready as well.
Yeah.
So.
Either one. I made the executive call. I don't want his baby to keep us from sleeping. Isn't it hurting enough already? Isn't that baby hurting them enough? I mean,
I was gonna say it's already keeping them from sleeping.
I know, right? Like, just at this point, we just have to stop the bleeding. Yeah. But having, said all this, I did go and see Dennis and his wife and their baby, and the baby is cool. It's a real cool baby.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely inherited the Dennis chillness, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like when you ask how the baby's cool, like it's kind of like going around, like listens to Sum 41. It's got soaps shoes. He's like grinded on rails and shit all around his. I about said habit trail when I meant to say pack and play. Yeah, just grinding around. Okay, they had a Sonic the Hedgehog baby. I am so sorry to break this to everybody, but there's some mild hedgehogism. His first word was "yeah." It's just a mild case of hedgehog baby. So
they
put him in the bathtub.
They're really worried once they have to break out the teething rings. They're not sure how that's going to end up.
You can never have enough. There's no such thing as too many teething rings. Oh, because if he stubs his toe, all over the place.
Them all.
Yeah. What other Sonic use can we fit in here? 30-second lightning round. Go.
When you put him in the bathtub, you start hearing the music. Get him out of there.
They had to petition Gerber's for a chili dog flavored baby food. That's a deep cut from the animated series.
No, yes, I remember that. I watched that when I was a kid.
Oh man, I watched the hell out of some Sonic the Hedgehog animated.
Have you ever gone back and watched it?
Oh, it's terrible. It's the worst animation you've ever seen.
Yeah, I feel like there's this huge divergence for like Saturday morning cartoons, which is like as an adult they either become awful or amazing.
Yeah.
Like going back and seeing them.
Yeah, I feel like there's some stuff from Nickelodeon, and I'm not just saying this to fit in with the BuzzFeed generation. Hey, millennials, are you a '90s kid? What up? High five, Ollie, with a hedgehog baby. High five, Ollie, with a hedgehog baby. No, but like Rocko's Modern Life holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Batman the animated series is amazing.
Yeah, Batman Beyond. Yeah. I would say Batman Beyond continues.
I'm actually have been watching Batman Beyond.
It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard a great story about Kevin Conroy on 9/11. He was down there with the first responders, kind of helping out, and
Really?
so like word got out, but nobody believed that he was Kevin Conroy, the Batman, and so people were just like approaching him in the middle of this horrific scene, saying, "Can you? Are you Batman?" He was like, "I'm Batman. I am the Night." It's like, okay, cool, thanks. And then you just go back.
Did he answer, "I'm Batman"?
Yes, he answered, and I quote, "I am Batman, I am the Night."
That's pretty awesome.
It's like, and then I am Batman, I am the Night. There's work to do. Yeah, Kevin Conroy, apparently a real stand-up dude.
Nice.
Yeah. Man, is there any more time we can kill until Dennis gets here? Yeah, no, he's a chill baby. I fed him. No big. It's cool. Yeah. But I assume you'll be happy to hear that. I'm not going to take Dennis's privilege of turning this podcast into all baby talk all the time. So, yeah, we'll let him do that. Anyway, what do we have in store for you for this episode? There's some news. We're about halfway through Gamescom, which is the whole big German. I about said fiasco, and then I think I was leading into fiesta, and then into festival. But what I actually mean to say is convention. What?
Fiastasco?
Yeah, fiestastrophe.
I feel like we've had so many of these. I feel like we've got to be at least up to like E4 or E5 by now.
Well, no, I was talking with Ben because it was like, what was it? You said it or I said something like, "Man, there's so much news," and like, "Oh yeah, because of Gamescom."
Yeah.
No, it's the big three, and then we have TGS where everybody Hope Springs Eternal, or rather Hope Early Autumn's Eternal. That The Last Guardian will make an appearance. I feel like
Krusty's coming still.
Krusty's gonna be here. You'll see. Yeah. No, I feel like every time I invoke the name of that game, it is an act of violence against you, Ben.
Well,
So that's why you do it so often?
Sparingly. You want to keep your little arrows. You always want to keep one in the chamber, right?
I'm all out of tears for that game. I just have a slight frown whenever you mention it. Oh well.
At first you were afraid.
Now I'm petrified.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's not go there.
You will survive without The Last Guardian. It's fine. Yeah. So I have some news from this that I'm excited about. There's some pretty badass stuff. It's not going to be the final word. You guys are going to find okay, it's going to be, this episode is going to come out and you guys are going to be like, why didn't they talk about Apple buying Nintendo? Like, well, because we record early, I guess.
See, my news from this, in light of my what you've been playing or what you've been grinding on, is kind of depressing.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's save it. Let's go right into it. And then we've got a multiplayer question about.
Wait, let's save it. By which I mean the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I about said, hey, don't talk about that. However, we can just segue right into it after I banner the show. Which is what I call this when I say what we're doing. Bannering.
Didn't it used to be called billboarding?
Yeah.
What changed?
The budget went down. And also I forgot what I call that thing.
Gotcha.
Wait, so bannering as in you turn into the Incredible Hulk?
No, bannering. Did I say
Gets
it weird?
Real angry.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out today that I say owl with too many syllables.
How many do you say it with?
Owl.
Owl. That's 2.
Yeah.
Owl.
The one that always shows me is opera.
Opera?
Opera?
Opera.
Opera?
Man, language is weird.
Man, we're doing a good job of killing time,
Opera.
though.
I know, right? Yeah. We got a multiplayer question, courtesy of a listener whose name I forget, but we will put that out there on the segment, talking about what do you like to name your characters, and then we're going to round out with a what you have been playing grind session. Yeah. We're gonna load up Grindr and just have some good times. So let's talk about news. So guys, some things are happening in the world. Does anybody have a story they want to volunteer? David, you said you had one that was depressing in light of recent events.
In light of what will be my grind discussion, they've announced that the new Tomb Raider game, or at least the good one, will be Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, also has a real dumb title.
Is this like Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Revengeance, Second Story, Redemption, Revelations. Yeah. Subtitle: colon dash colon. Then colon dash end parenthesis. It's a smiley face. She's happy because she's risen. And then
They actually include the source code in the title.
I'm sure that's been that's actually been a thing where a title has been especially in a 4K or less kind of programming. I'm sure that's happened where the source code has been the title for something.
I was always very happy with the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie since they spelled out colon explicitly.
Yeah. Aqua Teen Hunger Force colon the movie. Yes.
If I was certain that it would be able to be parsed by most feed readers, I would actually make that absurd title that I just spat out the title of the episode. But I'm not certain. I'm not
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I am so sleep.
Sure
I haven't slept in.
certain.
It's a portmanteau.
certain.
I did that on purpose. I haven't slept in days. No, I'm not certain that it would show up in most people's readers. So that may just be like a bonus cut for everybody. Yeah, but continue about sad news about this Rise of the Tomb Raider Revengeance. Vengeance.
I mean, that's actually been the main story I've seen. It's just that, it's come out that it's going to be Xbox exclusive, but that the alternate universe or main universe, whatever, Tomb Raider is still going to be cross-platform. So
what's the difference between this one and the main universe one?
In this one, the characters have a personality.
Right, but this is this would be the main one. Like this is a sequel to the reboot. Whereas their consolation prize, like what was it, the Tomb of Osiris or whatever, which is a sequel to Guardians of Light, which is actually a good game, but it's more of like a Baldur's Gate puzzle action platformer kind of thing. That's more of a side game.
Right.
So what they're essentially saying is Tomb Raider is just now Xbox.
Right. Although I don't know. I feel like this strikes me as one that it's like Tomb Raider is just Xbox until we decided to port it to everything else.
Oh, true. Exclusivity is meaningless. However, did you read the letter they put out explaining their decision, and did you see just how much shucking and jiving they were doing in that?
The only thing I saw was the whole I think as you kind of termed it, the consolation prize. We aren't totally shutting out everyone else. That whole thing. Was the actual letter more of that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, just a little bit. I mean, it was very it was very defensive, which I think they have every right to be. Just because it is a controversial and I would say short-sighted decision, even if exclusivity doesn't really mean an awful lot. But oh my gosh, I need to find the full. I can't find the full letter. But it was basically it started out. We want to explain our decision, and then it was a paragraph of our fans have supported us and made the first Tomb Raider an extreme success, and et cetera, et cetera. All about the fans, all about the fans, all about the fans. And then there was one sentence, Microsoft has decided to provide more support than anybody else. And then back to sucking the fans' dicks.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that makes me more upset about the thing. If you just came out and said we like money and this is America, I feel like I would have more respect for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just if they came out and said, "Yeah, this is," I mean, if they were like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or whatever, where it was just, "Hey, like they paid us a lot of money." Except, I don't know that I don't know that either of those franchises have had the balls to just come out and say that, like that it was as mercenary as it was. Like
honest marketing? What? That's a thing.
Burn the witch. Yeah. Yeah, it's real crass. Like looking at this, as you may have seen, we just announced that Rise of Tomb Raider coming holiday 2015 is exclusively on Xbox. Kind of a weird adverb there. It's being released as an Xbox exclusive, possibly. We consider all of you to be the lifeblood of Tomb Raider and the work we do at Crystal. Yeah, and it goes on.
See, I think my favorite, and I didn't realize there's actual like letter out, so I don't know if they use this phrasing, but I think my favorite was a bunch of them were phrasing it like, available exclusively in 2015 on Xbox.
That's pretty great. Yeah, you just have to hope it sells well, because if it's like that, if it's like a Splinter Cell Conviction, then it just won't come out on anything else. Like that, like Splinter Cell Conviction is just an Xbox 360 game, even though Ubisoft said, "Oh, we'll get to it eventually." I don't know. Like, it seems like they're really undercutting themselves. Like, so you have to consider that Microsoft is giving them enough money to offset all of the copies they would continue to sell on PlayStation or PC. Like, PC is a huge, like, Tomb Raider is huge on PC.
Yeah, it especially strikes me as weird because I feel like doing a reboot, and in particular, and this is, sorry, a little bit getting into my grind, so I guess this will just cut that short, but in particular, doing a reboot that is so origin story, I feel like that's inherently kind of an investment. Yeah. And so it seems weird to be like writing this entire game that's like, setting up for, and like the end of it straight up sets up for like, hey, now we're going to have awesome adventures. Yeah. And then like doing this. That just strikes me as a weird
bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer because I have plans to buy a PlayStation 4 now. However, I'm not going to be getting an Xbox One, for the foreseeable future. And the announcements that they've made about this, about Rise of the Tomb Raider, Revenge, let's do it again, Electric Boogaloo, have made me think like it looks like it's going to be kind of like off the hook a little bit. It's gonna reintroduce some of the supernatural stuff. It's going to be a little bit more Tomb-y. I don't know. It's a bit of a bummer. Like,
have you played the Tomb Raider?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
that doesn't mean much. Oh man, I was about to tell a really depressing story.
Tell it.
Okay, I'll tell it. I need to pull up a spreadsheet.
I guess I would just say it very much.
Go ahead.
Follows the Uncharted approach to realism.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, Uncharted's approach to realism is engaging. Like, that's what I want. Is defer to whatever is more engaging. Realism, cool. I don't care. Just to do whatever is in service of the story. All right. So I couldn't sleep last night, and I had this in my to-do list for a little while. And sometimes working with numbers and spreadsheets soothes me. So I went into my backloggery and I exported like a list of all the games that I have yet to beat. Okay. And I went through and I got rid of any duplicates that there are. And then I went to how long to beat. And for each game, I checked and saw like, hey, what's the length on this? Right. And so how long is it? So just going down the rows. Okay, yeah, this will be an hour. This one's going to be 2. Ooh, boy, that's a 50-hour game. That'll be a bit of an investment. On and on, down the line. I saw this. Total, my backlog length, if I were to sit down and play it, it would be 6,706 hours.
It's a lot of hours.
Which equates to 279.42 full days. So one of those can be a half day. So that's a relief. Or 39.92 full weeks. Now, if you broke that down into work weeks, okay, that is 167.65 work weeks, which, if you divide that by 52, says, let me see here, yes, it would take me 3.22 years of playing all these games as my full-time job to get through to the end of them.
Or you could just play straight through and have a backlog baby because it'll take you 9 months to beat it all.
True. Huh.
I feel like I'd be interested in, obviously this would then instantly become less scientific or whatever, but I feel like it'd be interesting to know if you only included like games that were good. But and I realize you know what I mean, as in like there's all these things where I'm like with books for me where I'm like, you know, that's a classic book. You know, I really should read The Origin of the Species.
Mm-hmm.
I really should read Wealth of Nations.
So you need to go to Metacritic, get the score, and then create a threshold for it.
Oh, just like weight them. So nothing that gets less than a 75 on Metacritic is worth the time. Or if you just look at Metacritic as a percentage, you can assume if it's a 90, if it is a 90 on Metacritic, then I'm probably like 90% likely to play through it. So then you would just multiply by that as a percentage, and then actually see that. So look at the total aggregate. I want to say average, but let's say, aggregate Metacritic rating of all the games in my library, and then weight that against the total. Yeah, I could see that and say, like at what point am I actually just chasing after bad? Which is the second you began, the second you made this spreadsheet, you stupid, insane dummy. What the fuck are you doing?
You could turn it into a pivot table, too, and then rank it by the Metacritic rating.
Yeah. Well, what's pretty great is, you know,
podcast for people who love Excel sheets.
Yeah. So it's pretty great because what I've been able to do is order all of the games by the length. So if I just wanted to like just raw take down the number, I've got at least, let's see here, I've got at least 93 games that are less than 5 hours long.
See, I really wish I could do that with like books and movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's a little hard. Like movies, I think you can definitely load in, you know, the runtime on it. Books though, that's so dependent, right?
Well, I guess for me, like one of kind of my goals, like something I'd like to do is start reading more and start reading more better stuff, because I waste so much freaking time just watching like crap on TV.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I know myself, like, what I really need is to find some short, like, good books so that I can get, like, some victories under the belt. Yeah, you know what I mean?
What you ought to do is actually just find an author like Kurt Vonnegut or Harlan Ellison, who is really good at either really short novels or short story collections.
Yeah.
And then just dive into that. Like, just really ding up a couple easy victories. And,
right,
that's really good stuff. It's not like you're, you know, reading Goosebumps and like,
Exactly. And I guess what I'm saying by comparison is like my big success is I just finished Three Musketeers, except that I started it in high school. I'm now studying for my PhD.
Yeah. This number might also be skewed by the fact that I've played a lot of these about halfway through.
Sure.
Yeah. So
now, would you start where you left off?
It would depend. I think that's really dependent. I couldn't say. I mean, and that's assuming I will ever follow through on this. I think that the more that I study this and look over it, it just kind of is a reminder to me, like in so many things in life, that I just need to be more mindful. You know, about the decisions that I make. You know, because it's easy to think, ooh, a bundle, I got to get that. Which makes me sound like I'm not like a compulsive spender. So well, that's bizarre. Like this is my only like entertainment expense. So
that's to a certain degree why I was saying like I'd be interested to hear the good games, simply because like there are a lot of games, like even games that were not bad games. There's a lot of games that like I don't feel bad for having never played, or like in general, I don't feel awful, but you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
but like for example, the fact that like pretty much any of the good JRPGs, you know, like the Chrono series, you know, stuff like that. Like, I'm probably never going to play those, and like those are actually good games that like it's kind of too bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
so like I'd be interested to see those games that are going to get left behind that like so
yeah. No, like, you know, it's like you have these tragedies. Like, I can never see myself playing Xenogears, but it's on the list, you know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get back on topic. I didn't mean to take us down that way, but it's a bummer about Tomb Raider.
Cole, what you not been playing?
Yeah, Cole, what have you studiously been avoiding playing? Actually, let's speak it in two. But yeah, that's what I've been studiously avoiding playing, that and Alone in the Dark. But let's see here.
Wait, Alone in the Dark? Is that like a Loon survival horror game?
Alone in the Dark.
Oh, okay.
Is it one piece of Canadian currency in the dark that you're trying to find?
And then it's a tune in the dark. Yeah. So, anyway, Ben, do you have a news story?
Yeah, I got some stuff. We had the same news story.
Yeah, I scooped you. No, you scooped me.
Right.
Either way.
Scooping was done. But I have two minor stories that I scrambled to get. One of which is just a video of somebody beating Tony Hawk in about 3 minutes. Tony Hawk 2 Pro Skater. So this was just fun to watch because that is a game that I played when I was a young lad, and I have some nostalgic memories towards it. But that's whatever. So that's cool. We can drop it in the notes. You can watch it. The other story is about PlayStation announcing something as far as co-op play among gamers. And I think we had talked about this before, but I think more of the details got released. So it's called PlayStation Share, I believe.
Okay.
But what it is they will let friends be able to play the same game that you're playing, even if they don't own a copy of the game. So this is going to be true for a lot of games, but one of the games that was announced to do this is Far Cry 4. They're going to have specific co-op missions that anybody can play, even if they don't have the game. Just one person needs to own the game. That's the only qualification. So
yeah.
Is this separate from the keys to Kraken land, wherever the K beginning place you're in for Far Cry 3 or 4 rather? Is this different than that announcement?
So I think the two things are independent, but they both kind of have the same functionality.
Because that was something I actually was initially reading as like a negative. Is I thought the keys to whatever was the co-op thing they announced, and that was kind of depressing. But so this is actually good to know.
Yeah. So at least according to the article, it just says that it's PlayStation Network players. So I don't think that doesn't necessarily mean anything. The PlayStation Share, however, they do need to be PlayStation Plus members.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will be restricted to them. So, but it's an interesting new feature in the consoles, though, is being able to play on someone else's console.
Yeah. That's a pretty great marketing ploy. Like actually building that in. Like you're going to help build that community.
It's also kind of cool, too, because it does advertise the game to people. Yeah. And since you have to play with the person, it just advertises the game to your friends. But if you want to play the entire thing yourself, you'd have to go buy it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, go buy it or go one tab over and then pop it in. You know, buy it on there.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, you're hearing some noise there because I just added Dennis to the call.
Yeah, hello. I'm getting situated.
Situated. Hey, Dennis.
What's up, Dennis?
Not much. That could be said about the past 2 weeks of my life overall. Just kind of getting completely resituated.
new priorities. New
Yeah. It's been a whole list of new firsts every day. So I had my first time getting peed on, first time getting pooed on, first baby smiles. You know, one of those is more fun than the others. I'll let you figure out which.
You know what? Some people pay a lot of money for some of that. I'll let you figure out which.
It's good to be back.
I came up with a business venture, which is Rent a Pet.
Okay.
Yeah, for people who crave the companionship of something lesser than them, but they don't want to commit to taking care of it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
it's you just sign up, you get on a list, and there's people who there's roving vans with kitties and dogs and whatnot. You say, I want number 4, and then they bring you number 4, and it's a little gray cat that runs around your house, and you pet it. Is there for like an hour. You can buy an extra half hour for a nominal fee, and then he goes away. So it's just a strange man who brings a cat to your house for a little while.
It's like being a grandparent for a cat. Like you get them while they're fun, and the second they start crying or whatever, hand them back.
Yeah, man, I'm a good uncle. A good uncle.
That's right. You are, man. You were great. Actually, you and David both. Ben, we got to get you out to see if you passed the test.
What's the test?
Holding him without dropping him. It's,
Has anyone failed the test?
I plead the 5th.
It's easy until he brings out the bed of coals.
Yeah.
I just picture a bunch of pictures of Kole on a mattress.
That is actually what it is.
That's a business venture idea that I have.
Ooh, man, I didn't sign off on that. I didn't sign off on that one bit. I know it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Ooh, wow. You're leaning into that one pretty hard, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, but welcome back.
Yeah, although it's I think the 1 week that I technically missed, or did you guys have one? Has it been 2 weeks? The last week we missed altogether, right?
Yeah, we did.
So it's not that long that I've been out, but yeah, it does feel like a return from a large hiatus just because of recording schedules and whatnot. But yeah, it's great to be back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you. So you just came in right in the middle of the brief. We had some technical difficulties, so we're a little bit behind schedule. However, we're right in the middle of. Ben, you were talking about
PlayStation Share.
Yes. So that Far Cry thing, where it can be like, dogs, come here and play a game.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, I think these are two separate things, because I don't see anything about PlayStation Share in the Far Cry article, and I don't see anything about Far Cry in the PlayStation Share article. But
I guess we should say the Far Cry article was you get, 10 keys that allow someone to play co-op with you for 2 hours.
Yeah. So it's like a little rental. It's like an evening with Far Cry. Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's taking advantage. Like, what was it we've said several times, or at least I've said several times, is, kind of the way that these new consoles probably not going to impress us with graphics because they're diminishing returns on that. However, make use of the online stuff in a way that is not aggressively and crassly marketing, just, maybe slip some marketing in by letting me play a game with a friend, which is a way to get people to be excited about games they otherwise wouldn't have bought. So that's
Although
cool.
I'd be interested to know, because like I've heard that there's been sites that say like releasing a demo for a game lowers your sales.
Yeah.
And at least I would argue I think a lot of that's because a lot of games are crap and people find out about it before they bought it.
Yeah.
But at least the argument I've seen made is that there's a certain degree to which, when someone wants to play the idea of a game, and so once they've done that, then their need to buy the game is much reduced, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Much reduced.
It makes perfect sense. Cool. Do you guys mind if I launch in with one?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, I'm real excited. It is one that stereotypical Kole we'll talk about. No, it's not Bloodborne, although that video is pretty cool. Look at the launch trailer. No. Apparently, there is going to be, by all accounts and by all indications, a new Silent Hill game.
I missed this one.
Called, and I don't like this title, at least what they're calling it in this preview trailer, Silent Hills. which
The Hill's silent?
yes, attorneys general Hill's silent.
But yeah, so it's just silent, right? The hill is silent.
Yes, the hills were silent with the sound of monsters. However, so I feel pretty good about that. What is it here? Our friend Vivian wrote into on my Facebook wall when I gushed about this a little bit, saying it is unfortunate when the title to your sequel sounds like a porno parody. But it's pretty great because Sony.
Did they spell hills with a Z then?
Hills. Then an X and a colon and a dash and a parenthesis because they're happy. No, so the way this kind of bore itself out, Sony in cooperation with Konami put out a playable trailer, kind of like a playable teaser kind of thing, which is like it's called PT. And it was like a first person walking around in a dark house with flashlights, kind of simulator with screamy people and such. And then you're walking around, and apparently at the end of this, about an hour or so in, at least according to this Twitch player or on this Twitch player stream, her name is Soapy Warpig, she's a British lady, I think. It goes into third person, then you see somebody walking down like this abandoned street. And then, oh shit, wait, what? I hear that mandolin sound. It's Akira Yamaoka's theme to Silent Hill. That's crazy. What is it? Oh god, camera pans around. You're playing as somebody who looks just like Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead and Boondock Saints. And it's like, oh boy, what's happening here? And then it's like Norman Reedus, directed by Hideo Kojima
del Toro.
and Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. There we are. So Kojima and Del Toro in the mix up here with The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus. Yes. It is a love letter straight to my heart.
It had to have felt like an acid trip.
There's that notion of like the Harlan Ellison trap. Like, am I walking into like, is this something Am has created for me so that I never escape? Right? Like just. It's too perfect. And I know that Kojima has a history of like faking people out with his trailers and such, but like I want to believe like you can't take this from me. You can't.
Hey, wait, is Kojima worked on previous Silent Hills?
No, he hasn't.
No.
I was going to say.
In fact, for like the last 15 years, Silent Hill has been entirely outside of Konami's wheelhouse. Konami's just published it. It's been kind of like handed off to other developers with varying degrees of success. Like I would say, what is it? Shatter Memories is pretty good. Downpour, kind of okay. Origins, maybe not so much. Homecoming, meh. Right? Like, but just like this is coming back into Konami, and if Kojima's involved, I don't know. At least the storytelling is going to be fucked up with that, which is pretty good. Like,
yeah, that seems like his alley.
Yeah.
And Guillermo del Toro. I mean, come on, man. Like
that is his MO.
Yeah. Well, Del Toro, like he's been trying to get up in the games mix for ages. And so, like, man, I went from 0 to game boner in negative 5 seconds. Like, I was turgid before I even pressed play on this.
I was trying to figure out why I had a game boner.
Like, why am I? I knew why I had a game boner because I read the headline on the fucking thing.
But you said negative 5 seconds.
I saw the trailer for the playable trailer for PT, where it doesn't reveal what it's about at all.
Yeah.
And I was excited for that on its own right. Like I thought it was really, really good. And what was it like? I am the only me. Are you sure you're the only you? Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
that's cool. Even better if it's Silent Hill.
When I hear those questions, my urge is to be like, yes, I am. Move on.
It doesn't matter. It's supposed to make you think, but not make you think. It's supposed to shut off thought, so you're along for the ride. Go with it.
Don't make eye contact with the homeless man, honey. Just keep walking by.
Well, it's like a bag of leeches on an interrogation table asking you that question. Like super atmospheric.
Yeah. Man,
well, I mean, the homeless people around here are pretty.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit goofy that they're getting Norman Reedus to do it. However, I like Norman Reedus. His character in Walking Dead's pretty good. Man, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this as a thing. I kind of wish I had a PS4 so I could play this interactive teaser.
Yeah, I get closer every day to buying one.
Yeah. Well, now we're gonna have to because they've revealed that Bloodborne is gonna be coming out in the next 6 months.
Real? What?
Yeah. What do you think of that so far?
Bloodborne?
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
See, I don't know. I guess
just so this is the randomest thing to be excited about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, David.
This is a little bit like a little bit devil's advocate-y, but I do actually feel this way. There's a part of me that feels like I'm a little disappointed that looks like it's just going to be like another Dark Souls. Like, I feel like I'd rather have it be like, let's take a lot of what made Dark Souls awesome and then make something that isn't straight up the Dark Souls formula. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I don't know what you mean by formula. I mean, it looks to me like it's taking the best parts of Demon Souls' atmosphere and making the combat just kind of like a lot more strategic and a lot more kind of like intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess to me the combat looked pretty much the same, and
it definitely could be something where you're not like deep enough into it, like you don't have your head so far up its ass that you're not seeing like, oh shit, his weapon is like transforming and stuff, and like, is that like a crazy counter move? Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I guess that if that is true, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about, like that I would like to see it do more. So maybe it is what I'm saying, and I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest thing for me to be excited about from seeing the trailer, but his dive roll, the like stereotypical dive roll that is in every game and is really kind of stupid and corny if you think about it.
Yeah.
He just kind of shuffles to the side slightly faster than usual. Which I just saw that I was like, oh, well, yeah, that's actually what that should be like.
Yeah. Like they can actually present this in a like in an engaging way. Man.
Yeah. So out of all the things in that trailer, that's what I took away.
Yeah. Those bosses look great. Good.
What's that? I was going to say, have I mentioned I'm sleep deprived?
hey, high five, buddy. Same here. There we go. One of us had to do it. Yeah. Did you have a new story, Des?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, cool.
I'm barely caught up on all the Gamescom stuff that went down. The Ninja Theory has a new IP coming out, and I love me some Ninja Theory. So
yeah.
That's about all I got.
that was a crazy noise.
I can't tell if that was like disagreeing or aroused, or maybe both. I don't know.
Definitely both.
That was weren't Ninja Theories the one the group that murdered the control scheme for Devil May Cry?
Oh yeah, get your Puritanism when it comes to Devil May Cry controls out of here.
Yeah. Can I slip in one final story here, which seems kind of nuts to me?
Sure.
This is the longest grind we've ever done, I think. Apparently, Sierra's coming back.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like, there's just some kind of crazy shenanigans, but it's going to be revived as an independent game label for Activision, complete with a new King's Quest game being developed by the guys who did the misadventures of PB Winterbottom, the Odd Gentleman. The Odd Gentleman is the name of the studio. And then also they're going to be making a new Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions, which I like Geometry Wars a lot. So I'm excited about all of this, but it seems weird.
Is the new King's Quest game just or no, that was like Shadowgate. Shadowgate is getting a remake, right?
Yeah. Shadowgate was kickstarted and is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so different than King's Quest.
Yeah. I mean, point and click adventure games. Shadowgate is a little bit ahead of. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. That's apropos of nothing. I just felt like saying it out loud.
Yeah. Can I throw out one likewise just random thing?
Yeah, sure.
A brief.
Just for sake of like it being silly and made me smile. At some point, pull up the Kotaku article discussing like media, like the fan reaction to the leak of Mega Slowbro for Pokemon.
Okay.
Basically, this like
They still haven't reacted to it yet.
Well, this one, like Slowbro's like the little bear dude. And he's got the clam thing like biting on his tail.
He has a shell door attached to his tail.
Yeah, and in this evolution, he's now like the only part that's sticking out of the clam is like his head.
Uh-huh.
And like his like dopey smile is now this like shocked looking like frown.
Uh-huh.
And so it's people discussing that like this is Slowbro's like realization of horror that like his body is about to be taken over by this parasitic shelter.
Huh. And this is from the Omega Ruby or whatever?
Yeah, apparently what happened is like one of the Pokemon websites like accidentally leaked this like information on these two new Pokemon and then like took off real quick, but that's not how the internet works.
Yeah. No, it's out there forever.
Yeah. So it's just the reactions to it just make me smile.
Yeah. Man, that fan art train is pretty quick. You guys want to do a multiplayer?
Sure, we got a hell of a multiplayer.
Yes, we do.
2 weeks worth of it.
Multiplayer.
Now it's time for the multiplayer where we ask you a question and you answer it so kindly as you did here. What do we have? Oh, man. Dennis, what was the question?
Yeah, so we got 2 weeks worth of answers. It's for kind of housekeeping stuff. It's spread across 2 posts on our page. And this was actually suggested by Michael Christensen, who asked or suggested that we ask, how do you name your player characters? Do you have any consistent names for your avatars or principles or sources of inspiration that you draw from? Or do you just name them randomly? So I can't believe we haven't done this one for the show yet, because that's a really interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we jump right in here? David, what does Sean say?
Sean says, typically I use one of the names I had during my LARP, live action role playing, or tabletop RPG days. Malachi or Paladin? You're going to need to correct me if I pronounce that wrong. Party gaming usually ends up being friends if I'm invested in the game and in Pokemon. I'll name them something fun. Name my Honedge, Twinkle, if I intend on using them in my party. Otherwise, they get in the box as is.
You don't get a name.
To the box with you.
This is my human. This is my human. He was Steve, but now he's my human. I traded for him, but he doesn't have a name now.
12 Years a Slave coming to theaters.
Oh, shit. I just did a gross thing. Okay. Man. Ben, what's Brian say?
Brian says, lady characters are always named some variation of Alex, either Alexandra, Alexa, etc. Male characters are either my own name or a fantasy name that I'm fond of. Don't know how to pronounce that. And Logan are my main choices right now. It's spelled Kvothe.
Kavatha.
All right.
I feel like this is the time to introduce like the Kole theory of fantasy name generation due to limited letters.
Oh, that's where the surplus Ys go?
Yes. Y's and X's.
Yep.
That's all that's left.
Yeah. Man, let's get in here. I love pronouncing names on site because I almost always am just really far off. Tim Shoemaker says, back when I played World of Warcraft, I named all of my characters after obscure characters from the Song of Ice and Fire books. Lately, I've been naming characters after podcasters I listen to. Shumka is always my go-to after a host on Stop Podcasting Yourself because I think that it's a fun-sounding name. That's a good show. I just named my new Dark Souls 2 character, Butterfield.
Yes.
Merkel, Moneysmith, and Furia all have a pretty nice ring, too. Not sure if Ross will make the cut. Sorry, Cole.
Judged.
It's okay. I'll jump in here with mine. I always name my FTL crew after you guys.
Yeah.
So you guys have seen 1,000 horrible deaths.
Yep. and I
you
felt
do.
every last one of them. I'll wait.
Do you do the same for XCOM?
No, I've never had the heart to do it for XCOM, but I can tell you that my very first soldier from my very first campaign, his name was Antonio Guzman, and he was a beast, and he made it all the way through to the end. And
See,
I am a proud parent.
I for XCOM, like, I knew all my characters by nicknames more than the like actual name, just because they tended to. I know, like, I ended up like personifying like why I thought they had that nickname.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
But what about Tombstone then? Because I know that's one that the characters get. They were not long for this world.
Why I say that, like, it ended up being like I would. What is it? You know, the human tendency to see patterns where there aren't any. Like, I would
sure.
tend to like see like whatever nickname they got. It's like, oh yeah, that really fits like how I've been using that character, even though it's completely random.
Yeah. When in reality, the name would actually inform the way that you use them.
Right.
Yeah, no, the nicknames are specific to the classes though.
Oh,
So
well,
that might not.
be part of
Yeah.
it.
So like Antonio's nickname was Arcade for all the. He lit everything up and, lights and sounds, and
Yeah.
he was a heavy, so he had rockets. And but like, the snipers will be like Drifter and Far Eye.
Cyclops.
And stuff. Yeah, Cyclops. And I'm trying
So
to think of some of
basically,
the.
the snipers all got their names playing Counter-Strike.
Basically.
Hey, Tim. It doesn't have to be Ross. It can be Cole. It's spelled weird.
Let it go, Cole.
What
Let
about
it go.
what about Luxor, which is an anagram of Cole Ross?
Cole, Luxor, Ross.
Luxor, no, not Luxor. I'm not a casino. Luxor.
Sure.
Wait, how are you spelling this?
Lokessor.
That does sound like every Final Fantasy character ever.
So I mean, pretty much every Final Fantasy mid boss. Let's be honest here.
Okay.
Yeah. Dennis, what's David say?
David says, I've been using Threnza for almost everything for about 7 years now. He was originally a dwarven hunter. The auto name generator spit out something close, and I changed a few letters to make it flow better.
Yeah, auto name generators are most always the pits.
See, it's funny because they don't have, like, it depends on how much the people in it put effort into, like, making them work right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, random generation can work. I mean, just look at, KOL or whatever. But, man, it just in general, like, oftentimes I will see repeats, and I'm like, so are you just drawing from a spreadsheet that has 100 entries? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a cue from Cole's backlog spreadsheet. At least get 600 in there.
To be fair, it's closer to 4. So
All right.
let's see here. Ben,
Give it time.
give it. Let the games must. I don't even know. I was about to say something real lame, but then I didn't say it. I pulled out.
Were you about to say let the games begin, except the opposite?
No. I was about to say the games must flow, which is the most nonsensical. Like you would see that just on somebody's like shirt at a con, and it's just real. I felt real bad about that thing. I almost said.
Well, thanks for taking us
Good
in
thing
depth
you
with your
didn't
thought
say it.
process.
Yeah, I know, right? Ben, what do you usually name your characters?
So instead of saying, I really don't have something that I name them typically, but I wanted to share an article that I thought was funny because I thought this was a cool thing to name people. So I'm dropping it in the robot, so put in the show notes. But somebody named their Pokemon Oh Shit He. And so then throughout the game, it'll say like, oh shit, he grew to level 10. Or, oh shit, he learned sleep powder. And oh shit, he woke up.
What? Oh shit, he's evolving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta say that's a win. That is a winning strategy. That is a winning strategy. Wow. Moving on here. David, what does Matthew say?
Matthew says, always an innuendo to a dick joke. Only kidding.
Okay, can it be an innuendo to a dick joke, or is it just always a euphemism for the male member?
No, he implies a dick joke. Yeah,
Like the name is the setup for the joke.
It's like an anagram of the joke.
It's like all those like dumb jokes, like, you know, what goes in dry and comes out wet and sticky. You know, like all those jokes.
Yeah.
Where you're just implying a dick joke.
Yeah. It's just a patina of dick joke.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh. That's gross. Ben, how about Phil Holmes?
Phil says, to me, it depends on the genre. I have different names for fantasy games versus modern or sci-fi. That being said, sometimes I'll use my middle name or the last name of a character from a lesser-known novel.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He doesn't do Fire and Ice. He does lesser-known novels.
Yeah. Like, how bad must Tim feel now that, like, you know, Game of Thrones is everywhere, that Song of Ice and Fire is everywhere? Because, like, now he looks played out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know you were there before the explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just would have gone with Loxer, it would have been fine. You would have been fine, Tim.
Cole, there are a few moments in our life where we need to let things go. Let it go.
No. I got to cling to this. I got to cling to this flame. It is the worm center of resentment around which a wonderful forest will bloom. Moving on here. Jeffrey Lawden writes in, Geodude, with much agonizing, most often followed by about 50 hours of regret. So,
if only I would have named him something different.
So I never notice what I name my characters. I guess I'll throw in and do mine alongside this.
Really?
Yeah. So like it just doesn't, especially like in a Fallout game or in Elder Scrolls. It doesn't.
Oh well.
Like you never. It's just a line item on. It's a line item on a on your character sheet, and even the characters don't speak it because they can't speak arbitrary text. Mass Effect doesn't really make that much of a difference because they just say Shepard, on and on down the line. And so the name that I always give people is the name of my first World of Warcraft character, Arsenic, spelled arson, Arson, like, you know, setting stuff on fire, and then YK. So it's like fire poison. Because he was a rogue. It was real cool. I use that because it's clever and it looks neat. It looks like I would have that. It looks like a metal name that I would write in Sharpie on the outside of a composition notebook.
Umlauts for every vowel.
Yeah, even the K, which is weird. Yeah,
I would pronounce that name Arseny K, as in Arseny Cole.
Huh? What is arsenic?
I know. I feel
Somebody
like I'm
who
the
loves
exact.
arson.
Oh wow, I could actually do Larsenic too. I never even thought of that. Huh? Go ahead.
I feel like I take the exact opposite, particularly in like MMOs. I just agonize over them. City of Heroes was the worst because that's one where like innately your name kind of does matter because, you know, usually if you're a superhero, the name plays into both the power and the costume and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I big time agonize. I prefer games that like kind of explicitly suggest how to name your character.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know one of my favorites was Auto Assault. Pretty much everyone named their character, like everyone in game was a fairly normal first name and then like a last name that made a reference to something before the apocalypse.
Right.
So like Jim Dunlop.
Oh yeah.
Or you know,
Bobby Running Water.
Yeah, or like Freddie Goodyear.
Yeah.
Ben smiles.
I think more objects, but we can go with like abstract feelings too if we want to be all arty about it.
Yeah. Robert, lack of dysentery.
But
You bring up City of Heroes, and that was a game where I hardcore agonized over names. For exactly the reasons you stated. And specifically, the first character I wanted to make, I had like fully fleshed out exactly the power path that I wanted, which perfectly supported this background story that I had in my mind, and like it was just like this perfect thing in my head, and the name was taken, and I was heartbroken. So the character was like a female superhero that kind of had ghost-like superpowers, we'll call it. And her name was Simulacra, because a simulacrum is like a shadow of your former self, or something reduced down to a shadow of what it once was. And that was just so dark and cool, and I thought it was the perfect name for a superhero who was using the kind of powers that she was. And then I actually think I changed servers just so I could find one that her name was open on.
Yeah, I still, that's like a pet peeve for me, is that games still, a lot of MMOs still do the, like, there can only be one thing.
What if it was a Highlander game? Would you be okay with it then?
Then I'd be okay. But I just feel like that's so incredibly archaic. But
like City of Heroes is such a crazy exception, though, or at least a very weird example of this, because your name is part of your branding.
Right.
Yeah. Man, I feel gross for invoking branding in a conversation. So sorry, Dennis.
Just pretend that you were talking about brandishing a pistol.
Oh, cool.
That doesn't exactly work.
Now I feel like a man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Let's see here. I did Geo.
I'm on Dan. Yeah,
you're on Dan.
So Dan says, I usually look up random names in game guides or tabletop game rulebooks. Never fails. For example, here, Zombie Chihuahua, yes. Steamboard Executioner, yes. And Terror Tot Nephilim, yes.
What game is this? I need to be playing this.
Oh, he's about to say it.
Yeah, all from Malifaux. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tabletop game rulebook version 1.5. Terror Tots is just so perfect. It's like, how many 5-year-olds could you fight off? You'd call them Terror Tots.
Yeah. No, we had so in the high school Halo group, we had a buddy from high school, appropriately enough. He's just a transient that we found down by the tracks who knew how to play a needler on Beaver Creek. No, his avatar name, or the name that he used in the game, was Dictator Tot, which is pretty fresh.
There were so many good names from that era. I was wondering which one you were going with.
Yeah. I mean, I could have gone with Dictator Tot. Sippy Cup was pretty good. Malibu Stacy is okay. Yeah, it was a pretty fresh group.
Can I call out actually one of Dennis's that was my favorite?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever remember there's that crappy free to play. Was like some beat 'em up dungeon game, and the priest character was just this like massively ripped bodybuilder dude that was like a priest, and he like literally hit people with a giant wooden cross.
As you do.
Oh yeah, as you do. And so I don't know, I hope this isn't like offensive or sacrilegious, but the name Dennis went with was John the Basher.
It's pretty good.
Oh yes. I forgot about that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That one just struck. I know that one.
Hey, David, what's Tyler say?
Tyler says, Jordan Zimmerman got me giving everyone names that are just left of correct or well-known ones. Lunk, Muria, Clud, Stripe, he views. So this is going back to the, he's doing his part to help with the, the letters that are left over.
Yeah, just a propaganda poster. Like, we need your O's for the war effort.
No, but your is spelled Y-E-R.
Yeah. I mean, you want to be a hypocrite. Yeah.
See, this a little bit reminds me, and I feel like we're going to just, with this conversation, keep keep like looping back to it. One of the weird things you would sometimes see in City of Heroes is like you would see a lot of people make like copyright infringement characters,
Yeah.
make like, oh, I'm gonna make Wolverine or whatever. But the funny thing is every so often you would see something that like a name that that was like straight up seemed like it was going to be that, but then like the costume and powers did not match up with that at all.
Yeah,
And it's like, I'm not sure what to like. Were you taking that, or did you just accidentally like name your dude a really, really like common superhero name?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. More City of Heroes crap. I made an Archer character that was Robin Hoodlum. Could not believe that was not taken.
Yeah. No. So all I can think of to your point, Tyler, is it just Commander Shepard, which is just it's spelled C-U-M.
Oh God.
Yep. There we go. Shepard, P-U-R-D. No. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler is
Yes, I actually enjoy that methodology, and we'll probably use it.
It's a nice heuristic. I really enjoy that. Tyler is the host of the wonderful Ninjas Versus podcast, one of the 3 hosts, along with his buddies. It comes highly recommended.
I like Mustard Chief.
Mustard Chief. Oh man.
Oh, we're turning into Coach Z. Hey there, Mustard Chorf.
Ben, take
Sorry,
us,
Mario, but
Ben, take us off this merry-go-round. What's Christopher say?
Christopher says nothing creative, unlike Tyler's. One of my most used names is Professor Danger. Basically, all my characters have danger or dangerous in their name. Nothing creative, but it's fun to say my name and then proceed to be chaotic towards NPCs and RPGs.
Yeah.
Wake and
I
fix
really
it.
hope that you say like beforehand something like "Let's get dangerous."
Yeah.
Just throw you in that professor, dude. It'll be creative then.
I feel like someone named Professor Danger, like regardless, needs some catchphrase.
It's risk-taking time. This better pay off.
That sounds like your catchphrase, Cole.
It's risk-taking time.
Time to face the world today.
I shit you not. Okay, so here's a depressing story about my life.
Oh,
Which is different than any other show because no. So this is like late last week. I woke up because I have the news bloops on my phone turned on because I want to know when the missiles are coming. I woke up to an alert that was like World Health Organization classifies Ebola threat as international emergency. And it was in that like 7-minute period between like 7:30 and 7:37 when I will come up with any reason not to get out of bed. And I thought like I'd better call my boss because what if Ebola happens? So there you go. But then I got up and I went to work and I just washed my hands a little more often. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's take some risks. Let's take some risks. Michael Christensen, the progenitor of this question, he writes in saying, regarding the question, after saying nice words about to Dennis about babies and such, I've consistently had a really hard time naming my characters. The whole character creation process often ends in bitterness and aggravation for me, sometimes causing me to curse the game before it's even begun. I have to pick an appearance, it confounds the naming. If I have to pick an appearance, it confounds the naming process even further. Lately, I've abandoned my sense of trying to theme the name to the game world, and for my sanity, I tend to name characters after philosophers and match their appearance if at all possible. So, like, you just make a bunch of bearded white dudes.
It's usually easy to do with the character generator.
Yeah.
Except when they don't add beards. It's funny to me, as in parentheses, to be fair, to think of them running around these alternate realities. I'm running a grumpy, bearded old Zizek character through Dark Souls 2 New Game Plus at the moment. Moreover, I realized that I rarely even think about what the person is called once I'm several hours in, unless NPCs make specific reference to it, in which case I generally just go for the default name if there is one. I learned that lesson after enduring hours of regret having NPCs in various Zelda games refer to Link by whatever bullshit alteration of caps and no caps I called myself on the internet message boards in the 90s.
So that's really funny. Before I knew better, my first ever Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy X, and I did custom names for all the characters.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to try to go read a guide or a plot synopsis or something like that. I was like, who the hell are all these people? Yeah. And had to go cross reference everything.
I when I was real little, when I was renting Final Fantasy II in order to play it, there was a file on there that was right towards the end. And had all the characters at really high levels. And I was like, oh, I'll dip into this and just kind of play this and see what's up. However, all the characters had custom names because we were living in a barbaric age when there were cartridges and you had to share save files with people. And so I had no idea.
Times.
Yeah, I had no idea what character was even supposed to be who. To my mind, Cecil was still just a Dark Knight. Who's this purple-haired guy? I don't know. What's happening? I guess that's Kane. Kane's here. But Rosa? What? Who's that? It was just very strange that just to have Jim and Steve and Cheryl. I guess this guy's family? Jim, Steve, and Cheryl. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Who hasn't said their thing among us?
I've done variants of mine for specific games, but if you're creating an online ID, I always go with Green Laser. That's all my PSN ID and Steam and everything like that. Yeah. And it came about when I was in 8th grade, creating my first ever username. I was really into Star Wars at the time, and thought Green Laser was so cool because it was weapon of the enemy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought I was hot shit.
Except then it turned out to be the guy from Cheat Patrol or whatever it was. Or is that Blue Laser?
Blue Laser was...
Laser!
Yeah, there we go.
Second Homestar reference so far.
There we go.
We're on a roll. Yeah. It's coming back, so it's relevant again, right?
I guess. Is it coming back? They had that April Fool's update, but...
No, it's really, really a thing.
Oh, man, that is delightful.
Basically, now the guy who does it, his kid's now old enough that...
Well, he was doing consulting work. He was working on Yo Gabba Gabba for a little bit.
Okay, at least the article I read, he kind of cited I can now do this without neglecting my family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good. I'm sad he was away for so long, but it's good that he's back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. That is good news. Yeah. Green Laser, that's pretty funny. Just and you stick with it. So when I'm picking, I tend to just go with my name because I'm trying to build a brand here. I'm building a religion, right? But most of my extant usernames are just Song for the Deaf.
It's a good album.
Yeah, it's a great album. I know.
I would do my name, but I just, other than this podcast, I just don't like the interwebs to know who I am any more than I have to.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Let's see. Who is left? Dennis, what does Dustin say?
Yeah, we're up to Dustin. He says, Sephiroth. Ah, damn, it's already taken.
Claude. Damn it. Who's Tyler? Tyler, why did you take Claude? Oh, man. David, Murph.
I've got a stable of names I pick from, but if it's a game, I don't care much about the story. Mr. will make an appearance.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I like
sure
how
that's
Mr.
what
is
he meant
not
by
capitalized, but is.
Yep. Because it follows a period. I think he might have been typing this. Guys, I'm going to Sherlock this. I think he might have been typing this on a mobile phone. Mr.
How many letters are in Like when does autocorrect turn off?
I'm going to take this back to the very beginning. I'm on to you. not taking the time to write to us on a desktop computer.
You're not getting the authentic experience.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, man. And then let's round it all out with Brian.
Brian says, like Murph, I have a standard name/theme that corresponds to my Steam name. However, in old school JRPGs in particular, I usually pick a themed trio/foursome, etc. For example, 90s rappers or sandwich toppings. Because there's nothing like seeing Ja Rule save the kingdom or the party of bacon, egg, and cheese cleanse the realm of evil.
Oh, that's delightful.
See, I feel like that's kind of how I term it every time, I go with the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit after a hangover, need to cleanse the realm of evil.
Yeah. It would probably be pretty easy to make a Final Fantasy 1 party that's entirely members of the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, at the very least, you have RZA, Jizza, and ODB. So you just have to find a way to abbreviate Ghostface Killa down to 4 characters and you're set.
Oh, that's great.
Wait, they really only give you 4 characters?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, 4.
Can't do shit. Sucks. Yeah. Cartridges. Oh, gosh. Yeah, bacon, egg, and cheese is pretty good. That was a marathon. Everything has been a marathon so far. Let's go through and make quick work of the grind. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if you guys don't mind, the bat phone is ringing, so I'm actually gonna make the grind even quicker by hopping off early. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on for as long as you did.
Yeah, this was awesome, and I'm sure I will see you guys around.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Holla. If you would like to participate in these weekly discussions, just go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast. Look for those on Tuesday afternoons and pop your little comment in on there. Also, you can do it through the comments page. It's Duckfeed.tv/contact if you would like to. And this one was suggested by a user. If you have ideas for prompts, send them our way. Cool. Grind it.
The grind.
So, guys, what you been playing? I figured I'd go old school this time.
Seems appropriate.
I can start off. I have something that I'm a little bit excited about.
Yeah, you said we were going to be surprised by this.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know. It's just a substantial. So I'm playing Watch Dogs. So I picked it up. I did not pick it up for the PS4. I remembered that it also came out for the PS3. So don't worry, I didn't make it a current podcast or anything. But yeah. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's a meaty game. It's like maybe an even cross between Saints Row the Third and Grand Theft Auto 5. So part realism, but part zany in the right place. But it's pretty solid so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice open world game. It has a lot of fun parts, similar to Saints Row. I don't want to spoil any of them, so I won't go into more detail about it. But yeah, I mean, it has the aesthetic of like a hacker or whatever, but it's basically an excuse to make the game fun. So so the world is very interactive when you drive around it or run around it because you can manipulate almost anything via your cell phone. So it's very much a convention, but it makes the game fun. They found the fun button. So
which is square.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some of the things that you can do, you can control traffic lights. You can control the bridges. It takes place in Chicago, so they have the old-fashioned bridges that Chicago has.
Yeah, drawbridges.
Yeah. And you can control posts that block out cars.
I love those things.
You typically see them on like service roads, maybe where it's like a walking trail, but sometimes a car will go on it.
Yeah.
But you can control those to rise up or lower down. So you can basically, if you're ever in pursuit, there's a plethora of ways that you can destroy the person who's following you. So
can you pop them up while under a car and like flip it?
Yep.
Yes. You can. Flipping it is a little bit more difficult, but
you can get
it can be done.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, getting it stuck's a lot easier to do. But yeah.
I love how they bring interest to the car chases because usually driving missions are real bummers in open world games like this. Like they feel just a little bit like compulsory, like, oh, we have this driving engine, so we ought to use it. But just by turning it into this kind of like split-second desk QuickTime event, makes it it adds an extra layer that kind of keeps me engaged. That said, I want to ask you, Ben, do you find that you have trouble like hitting those things in time to have them actually be effective?
At first I did, but then I realized how it worked, and I didn't have a problem after that.
Yeah.
So like basically all the things it'll flash for you whenever you need to activate it to like hit the person. So you don't really need to like time it out as far as like trying to hit it when you think they'll be there. Like an indicator will flash up, and this is specifically like with traffic lights. For some reason, traffic lights can neutralize the car behind it. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but it's kind of fun, so I'll go with it. But
Wait, so they'll like stop at the traffic
they like
light even though they're in the middle of a chase?
What it does is it turns everything green, so it creates a collision in the intersection, so they have to navigate around it.
Yeah.
That's kind of morbid.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's tough, though, because you never see it happen unless you look back, maybe. But you're pretty far
that's
away
a
at that point.
strategy. I can pretend that no one got hurt as long as I don't check.
There's no such thing as the past.
Yeah. I think the bridge is the most satisfying getaway technique because the cops are total pussies about it. They will stop if it's just even a slight incline. And so you get a ramp then for free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And,
So it's like Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're at the county line. They just throw their hat on the ground and stomp on it. You stupid fucks.
It would be great if they what is it? What's the one country show? Not Dukes of Hazzard. Or you have a button that turns it into a corkscrew ramp to jump over the river.
Just fires the piston down on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty great how they work that into your progression system. So as you get experience points or whatever, you unlock the ability to control more of those things. If they just drop me down into a world where I could control everything like some kind of like cellular wizard, it probably would have been a little bit overwhelming. However, like it kind of like leans
paces
you into it. Yeah, it paces it out in such a way that you can prioritize it however much you want to. And like by reading the tech tree, you can say like, oh, if I get 2 more points, I can control those service road access pistons or whatever. That would be pretty cool. And then you just go for it.
Yeah.
Has there been kind of a consensus? I avoided this because my perception was it seemed like people felt like, oh, you have to play it next gen, stuff like that. Would you say that doesn't seem to be the case?
So before I bought it, I was looking at a comparison video between the PS3 and PS4, and the PS4 does look better. And so like when I was watching the two, it was like, I don't know if I want to get the PS3 because it's kind of like clunky in comparison. And then I watched the same video again and just put my hand over the PS4 version. I'm like, it doesn't look that bad. I think I'll go get it. And so that was kind of the deciding factor. So, I mean, if you want to splurge and get a PS4 or get a next-gen console, go for it. It seems to look pretty nice in comparison, but it's not unplayable for the PS3 by any means. So
makes sense.
The thing that I read about the next gen versus the last gen, or whatever, however you want to call that, the difference there was less about how it looked and more about what they can realistically model in memory, essentially. So like how many people can they keep track of? Like everything that I saw was like, oh, there are just less people in play, or there are less cars. Like that the city is kind of more populated and there are more events happening as it goes along. However, that is all stuff that I've read, and that I literally, across all the podcasts that I have listened to about this, I've not heard of anybody playing the last gen or the PlayStation 3 version of this. So like your opinion, I trust that more than anything I've read or listened to. Just kind of,
Yeah. And I mean, it depends on the person too. So if like graphics is totally your thing, then you might want to do next generation console if it's something that you would notice and care about. So,
yeah.
But yeah. And so I mean, it has some charm to it. There's a lot of fun like side stuff as well. Yeah, I won't say they're really fun ones because I don't want to give them away. But there's like some cool things like there's chess puzzles, which I thought was really cool, where you can like walk into a coffee shop, you sit down with a stranger for some reason who has chess puzzles for you. But like I don't know. So I mean, there's a lot of like fun
like
sides.
the 9 queens.
So some of them are endgame puzzles. So it'll be like, how can you get checkmate in 2 moves or 3 moves? And then one was, it was a unique game. It was, it would have a board of the opponent's pawns, and it would give you maybe like 2 or 3 pieces, and you would have to try and clear the pawns in a certain number of moves using the pieces. So it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, I like the puzzles so far. Also, when you hack into a network, there's like a 3-dimensional puzzle. Yeah. There's this old Google app game called like Pipe Wars, or not Pipe Wars, something about pipes. It's basically you like rotate pipes to get everything connected, like a connected tree.
Wait, like in BioShock?
It's not quite like Pipe Dream, where in BioShock and Pipe Dream, it gives you random segments that you have to try and like bridge a gap with. This is more, you have the connections that are there. You just have like certain vertices where you have gates to rotate, and so you're trying to rotate those to create a continuous flow.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is, like, so in some games it'll give you like kind of a complete graph, and it's just shuffled around, and you have to like connect everything. But in this one, what's cool is it's more like directing power. So you need to make it get to one access point at one time so you can unlock it, and then you need to redirect it to another access point later in the puzzle. So I like that it had that kind of multiple, a change in strategy to it.
Yeah.
In a very abstract way, that is a way you can hack things. Race conditions are a problem.
Yeah.
How far have you gotten, Ben?
I'm still in Act 1. There's 5 acts. Yeah. So I've kind of done half and half between doing the campaign and then kind of doing side stuff. Yeah. I tried doing the poker stuff because one of the rewards for it was getting a motorcycle, and I love me some motorcycle riding in that game. Dude, the animation on his jacket flapping while he's on the motorcycle is really nice, really satisfying. It's like the end of the Dark Knight, but
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but anyway, I found out that I already had a motorcycle on command, so then I stopped doing that. Yeah. But the poker was kind of interesting. It was probably the best attempt I had seen at poker integration in a game since Red Dead Redemption, wherein you
just shoot people?
Where you can cheat and then get in a shootout if they find out that you cheat. I feel like that's probably the best integration of poker in a game that I've seen. Even though who cares? It's poker, whatever. But in Watch Dogs they have this thing where in every poker room that you play in, there's conveniently a camera, and I guess which is the theme of the game is that there are kind of cameras everywhere. But all the cameras are placed in such a way that one of the 3 people that you're playing in poker, you can see both of their cards every time if you hack into it at the right time and look over their shoulder as they lift their cards. And then there's one person who you can always see about one of their cards, but they usually are obstructing the other one. And so you use this to try and get an edge on them in the game so that, you can kind of compare what you have to what they have. So I thought that was a lot of fun, too, to make it have somebody that you always know whether or not you can beat, somebody who's a complete mystery, and then someone who's a partial mystery.
Yeah.
Wait, stepping back a moment, What? You say, talking about like favorite implementations of poker in video game. Mm-hmm. Isn't your job implementation of poker in video games?
Kind of. We haven't gotten quite there yet, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody with a similar job to me would do that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a couple missions into the beginning of Act 2.
Okay.
And it gets really good. Like I like the story. The writing is a little bit goofy in a lot of ways. I only talk about this and throw on because I played a little bit of it. But the most discouraging thing happened, which was I got most of the way into a mission and then it just crashed to desktop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I lost all my progress in that mission.
It gets very meta at that point.
Yeah, it's like you have to go in and like fix the .exe and yeah,
that's
and then
a fun mini game. Yeah,
it's just a preview. Like it's a trailer for Quadrilateral Cowboy. It's real nuts. Man, that game looks sweet.
I have not heard of this game, but I like the name.
Yeah, no, it's from Blundo, the guys who did Gravity Bone and 30 Flights of Loving.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, except it literally is hacking. Like you set up like routines, you script bank heists and stuff. Yeah,
It's like the most boring bank robbery game.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Debug.
Yeah, it's like you write a little program, like you literally write a program that says, okay, I need to figure out like how long we're in here to time stuff out. So like every 5 seconds, give me a beep, and then it beeps so that you can keep track of that, and then you can write it around. Okay, disable these cameras and whatever. That's yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. But I think that it's a game like Spy Party where it is perpetually in beta and never going to come out. So. Yeah, I'm happy you like this.
Just have to script a real bank heist.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I figured you would dig it with your proclivities towards open world games. I was just curious, coming right off of Grand Theft Auto 5, which was kind of an unmitigated win.
Yeah. So I mean, like Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row is like a nice spectrum between like realism focused and fun focused. Mm-hmm. It's not to say that they're mutually exclusive, but
yeah.
Watch Dogs is kind of like an even split in my mind. So it's kind of like right in the middle. So
yeah. Awesome. Played anything else?
That is all I have been playing. I have not gone back to the boss in Dark Souls 2 yet.
That's cool. David, how about you?
Sure. My big thing. Well, first I wanted to step back and apologize to several of our viewers that I've been trying to organize playing Velvet Sundown with. Things have just been completely crazy. I'm trying to organize some stuff at the university / I'm going to be TAing a class next semester, so it's been kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry about that. My big thing this week, I finally beat the first Tomb Raider game.
By which you mean
not the first Tomb Raider game, but the first one of the reboot, rather, is what I mean.
The most recent Tomb Raider game.
Yes. I don't know. Now, Ben, you've played it, and Cole's not, correct?
I have not. I do own it, however.
Okay. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I would say this is a game I would say, like, just straight up, I enjoyed it. I felt like the storyline was, on the whole, pretty good. I felt like the characterization, particularly Laura's kind of development, kind of her character development was really, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I liked one of the big things I liked is that I felt it did a really good job of taking you from like both from like a storyline and from a gameplay perspective, from like very much being a victim and kind of constantly being on the run to the point where like you're well enough armed and good enough at the game that you explicitly have the upper hand against your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought it was a nice touch that it seems like kind of the signature weapons for the Tomb Raider series is the dual Desert Eagles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked that you don't have that until the very last like fight scene where you get those.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
So I felt like there's a lot of stuff like that that's kind of nice touches in terms of like making it the prequel type feel.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel like some of the controls were a little weak. Did they feel to you? I felt like a lot of it was a little bit floaty.
I did not mind the controls, or at least I did not notice them. Sometimes I felt the cutscenes might be a little bit short as far as reaction time, but that's about it.
I was real torn on that. I
Literally, you were
disliked,
torn.
well, yeah. I disliked Yeah, I'm big on. I think cutscenes. The QuickTime events should generally be more about creating feeling of danger as opposed to actual danger.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and I
yeah.
felt like and I felt like some of the resulting death scenes were a little gratuitous, particularly when like I would fail cutscenes like 10 times in a row.
Hmm.
The thing I did like is I like that there was an explicit system to it. So, melee attacks were always one button. Doing something with your hands was always a different button, and kicking was always one button. So I did like that. As the game went on, I felt like I reached the point where I could sort of anticipate what it was going to have me do, and I started getting them more often.
Hmm.
So I did like that, but I agree that I thought the reaction times were much too short.
Yeah.
But the big things for the control for me is it did a thing where you would kind of stick and it wouldn't just exactly let you run off a drop. And that was good on the drops where it's like into a bottomless pit. But if it was just like a minor change in the elevation, I found like often I'd be kind of struggling to get like exactly where I wanted to be to take a jump or something.
What system are you playing this on?
PC.
Okay. With a controller or mouse and keyboard?
With mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
And I would say, other than that, like I actually didn't notice that many like problems with mouse and keyboard, but maybe this was a manifestation of that. That very well could be.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd actually be interested to hear. But yeah, so I thought it was really well done. I liked the use of like the kind of the Batman Arkham games, like your clothing getting like more and more tattered as things went along.
Hmm.
I do find some of the like piles of bodies and stuff got a little weird later on, or like the like wading through literal like up to your shoulders in blood was a little weird.
Yeah, there's a couple of like scenes in the game that kind of reference something but then never follow up on it. And yeah, so there's a couple of weird like throwaway set pieces in the game that I'm not sure what they were going for with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, did you read those? Yeah, I know. Like, it just, yeah, so there's stuff like that struck me as weird. And I don't know what. Other than, like, this is going to lead to some major psychological trauma, I wasn't quite sure. I think, one of my favorite things to do after I beat a game, I like going and reading, some of the commentary people do on it. And I think my favorite one I heard, because I feel like this sums up a lot of what happens in the game, is I feel sorry for if Laura ever gets a boyfriend, she falls down so much that there's no way people won't think he's abusing her. Because like that is like every cutscene is just like her falling off of something or getting hit by something or like that. It's like, I don't know.
She takes a lot of damage, yes.
Yeah, it's very much like it's at some points gets to be a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Cool. Any final thoughts on Tomb Raider?
No, that was yeah.
Cool. And was that all you played?
I also played Sunless Sea, but I don't know if maybe we want to leave that till next time.
Yeah, that can probably wait. It's getting a little bit late.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So
yeah. You alluded to it a little bit earlier, but this is something that I've dipped my toes into a little bit. I feel goofy because it's just making the rounds on podcasts, and especially because we missed last week when it was the hot thing to talk about. That Velvet Sundown is something special.
Yeah, I've not gotten to play it at all. I mean, I know, the general idea is, it's sort of it's a social game. They advertise, no combat, none of that sort of thing. And the basic plot is, you're assigned to a character, and everyone's character on a ship, and you all have various secrets. And so it kind of becomes a cloak and dagger sort of thing.
Yeah, everybody has an objective, right?
Right,
and so
exactly,
you could be a person who's like, oh, I'm trying to like distribute this kind of vodka or something like that, and that is actually a front for like a drug kind of thing. Like most of it goes back to drugs, and you're trying to accomplish all of those. Like each of those is treated like an item in your inventory. And you're walking up. Literally, everybody else in the game is played by a person, so long as they remain at their keyboard. God damn it! And you engage them in conversation. So sorry, I picked up the thread from you, David. But it's real interesting. Like you engage them in conversation, and you're just talking to somebody else who may or may not be role playing.
Right.
So ideally, like if this thing was working, like as a perfectly efficient machine. Like you would get in, you would read your character brief and say, "Yes, I am the bartender on this party boat that is tired of serving others, and I want to be served. I would like to try and get people to invest in this club I want to open up." And think, okay, cool. Like I'm kind of a little bit world weary. I'm going to talk. I'm going to tell stories. Going to be a little bit sarcastic or whatever. And then you get into a conversation with 2 or 3 people, and you use a complete sentence. And then one of them calls you a derogatory term for homosexuals, like for using complete sentences.
Because we know that's a clear sign. That's how you can tell about those people.
Hey, can you look at your fingernails? Yes, I can. Whoops, that was a complete sentence. Fuck you.
It's one of those things that I feel like it's probably going to be very like hit or miss. One of the other kind of side things is when you type in your sentences, it then has a voice.
Like a text-to-speech thing. It did until it got really popular on the podcast circuit, and then they had to turn that off for all but the paid members because it was overloading the cloud text-to-speech service they were using.
Oh,
what?
Wow.
Yeah. So when I played it, and every time I've tried to play it since, there is no text-to-speech.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it looks interesting. I feel like, what is Velvet Sunset? Is that the name of the yacht?
Yeah, it's the name of the boat. I think all of these different scenarios. That's the other thing. There's only one free scenario that runs, and that changes up like every 2 days or so.
Which that strikes me. I hope that's a business model that actually makes them money, because that seems like from a consumer standpoint, that seems like an incredibly non-annoying way to do free to play.
Yeah.
So like, I hope that works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure like how much effort is involved in rolling up another one of those things, because it's really low burn. Like it seems low burn in terms of like a game design kind of thing. You just set up the flags and then set people out to to go after it. Like what I don't understand is the people who go in and just kind of want to mechanically churn through all their objectives. It's like we've got like 35 minutes to get this thing done. Like let's kind of have fun. Maybe acting as these characters. Maybe it's my fault for wanting to do like online interactive spy role play.
Right. No. Yeah.
But that seems to be the spirit of what's involved. I mean, the company is called Drama Games or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if maybe they try to change stuff, because I feel like, maybe, I don't know, is there like a cop role that could like put a stop to someone just being like, hey, buy some drugs?
I don't know, maybe. Like
I mean, I'd be interested to see if they evolved the game at all to in reaction to the way people act.
It kind of seems to be down to the individual players, though. Like, if somebody comes up and says, hey, I want to buy drugs because I need drugs for this thing that I'm doing. Like, no, screw off. I don't want to sell you drugs. But the problem is, because it's a completely closed system, when somebody comes up and says, hey, I want to buy drugs or sell you drugs or whatever, the person that they're talking to probably would benefit from buying or selling drugs. So they have no reason not to, aside from like maintaining the integrity of this thing that they're trying to do. That isn't rewarded by the system of play.
I feel like they need a like blackmail for drug stash or something. Like they need some sort of like way to, but I think
it would be infinitely more playable, and I think that you would get more out of it if there was an ability to like create private games or select who you wanted to bring in. Like if we organized like a Duckfeed night, a night on the Velvet Sundown, for listeners or whatever.
Wow, sounds like the name of a strip club.
Yes, it does. Yeah. But like if we did that and we were able to like bring in, say like, okay, we know you cool, so come in here and do this. Like even that is, like the illusion is maintained because everybody is anonymous, right? So it doesn't say who's assigned to what. And in fact, it doesn't break down like who was what until like a post-game chat room that you go to.
Wait, so everyone wears Guy Fawkes masks?
No, by which I mean like you can't tell that I'm Jimmy the bartender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like that would be fun, like playing with a big group of people that and if everybody was committed to playing in the spirit of the game. I feel such like a cranky nerd talking about this, but really it does. I hate being in any context where I am made fun of for like leaning into it.
Well, I feel like explicitly like sexual or like bigotry is not appropriate regardless. Like even if you're not going to be there's a line between like people who aren't there to role play and like maybe they just kind of don't quite get the game versus it's clearly not appropriate to like but if you pay for it, can you do that? I guess I'm surprised you can't do that.
I didn't see that in the feature list, so
I'll
probably dip back into it because it is indeed like legit free to play, so that's cool. But,
and I mean, at the very least, it's a cool idea that someone's done. It strikes me as like being of some of the same fiber as like the Spy Party type thing. The explicit like social gaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably dip back into it, guys. I want to talk about Crypt of the Necrodancer.
What?
Really? Is that good?
Oh my gosh, guys, it's so good. Ben, you expressed disbelief with the name.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
So, Crypt of the Necrodancer, again, this is another game that's making the podcast rounds. It is a rhythm-based roguelike.
Okay.
So it's like a top-down, tile-based dungeon crawler kind of thing, except you are incentivized to only take actions on the beat with the music. So each level kind of has its own little track that plays along, and you have obviously the music track to tap along with, and also like a little visual indicator. And you are a young lady adventurer who falls into the Crypt of the Necrodancer, and you're trying to retrieve your own heart. And so it's randomly generated, and basically what it does, it's kind of like Binding of Isaac if you had to play along with the music. It forces you to make some relatively complicated decisions about the way you're going to move and attack based on a very tight timetable, because if you miss a beat, like if you drop a step, then you lose your coin multiplier, and so you don't get as much for killing your various enemies that are in there. So you actually make slower progress by not playing to the rhythm, and so it's incredibly involved and incredibly stressful to a certain extent, because you are forced to do everything on the beat, and it kind of gets you into this kind of zone. I about said it gets you into the rhythm, which is an absolutely stupid, redundant thing to say.
So you're a necromancer looking for your heart, and you find soul?
No. It's pretty good. No, you're not. You're not a necromancer. It is the crypt of the Necrodancer. You see.
You're a Necrodancer then.
Yeah.
right.
It's made at least partially with dance pads in mind.
Okay.
So
That sounds awesome.
so you deploy. You don't have just like a button that you press to deploy your weapons. You can actually you press combinations of directional buttons. So if you were displaying, you would do up and left to like drink a potion or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty great. Like it has a little bit more persistence than Binding of Isaac. Like you don't lose as much in between because as you go through, you pick up diamonds that you can spend back in the lobby. And that actually unlocks things that you're going to be able to find in the random chests throughout the levels. So as you progress, like it isn't a thing where you have to just perfect a run. Like every run that you do, you're able to buy something that makes the next run more likely to be successful, right?
Nice.
And the other cool thing, go ahead.
Oh no, it was trivial. Gone.
The other cool thing is that you pick up different weapons which have different attack patterns. So like a broadsword will do like like 3 spaces in front of you. A spear will like stab forward 2 spaces. Like there's a whip that just randomly attacks something that's in a field in front of you. Like like each of those is a really like it's a considered strategic decision which one of those you're going to pick up. Because each of the enemies is kind of pinned to a different movement pattern. So different slimes will like oscillate back and forth like between 2 spaces every other beat, whereas other ones will go in a square, and skeletons will pursue you up to a point, but then you attack them and their skulls fall off and then they will run away. Like everything just kind of moves differently to you. I know I said that in a really dumb way. It moves differently, depending on the rhythm. And so like whether you're on or off phase. And there's also like a mining component. Like you have a shovel, you can dig out dirt walls, but you have to pick up like pickaxes to go after the harder mineral walls. Oh gosh, and I'm just like spouting things that everybody who's played this game knows. But if you haven't played it, the shops are in like big gold rooms, like big gold brick rooms. You can use bombs to blow up the walls. Bombs are very limited. However, you can blow them up to get gold coins from the walls. And also, because all the music is MIDI, the shopkeeper will sing along intermittently with the song in like a really crazy like Casio synth voice. Oh, like it's pretty great.
So is this so I realize this is probably an awful idea, but like all my frame of reference for every game like this is NetHack. Does it require you to do all the micromanaging? Like, can you starve?
No. It's
that's
pretty,
good.
It's pretty basic in that regard. Like, it's it's about at the complexity level of a Binding of Isaac, I feel.
Okay. That's probably much better.
Yeah. My impression of NetHack, never really having gotten beyond the first room, is that that's more focused on like longer, more protracted runs. Like you can probably like this has a daily challenge mode, and depending on how good you do, like a run of this will last like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could I've got to say I would love to see this become a competitive gaming thing, like with the dance pad.
It's pretty great. Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of does. Like the daily challenge gives everybody the same dungeon, and it's kind of like Spelunky in that way. And it just gives you a leaderboard depending on how much gold you've amassed.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you say like a 15-minute run, could that potentially be like 15 minutes for a successful run? Like you beat the game?
I mean, my understanding is, I don't know. I've never gotten to the end of the first dungeon on a daily challenge run because it's really hard. But the game is divided up into stages.
Okay.
So you have a lobby. So there's like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And this is something that I've noticed. Maybe I don't know if this is commensurate with other people's experience, but boy, is there a difficulty spike.
Okay.
Yeah, like World 2, it is an order of magnitude more difficult than World 1, it seems. So I've been spending a lot more time in World 1 than World 2, just because like I keep trying to chase some kind of upgrade path that might make it more doable, I guess. But I think that really my only path out is going to be just to learn all of their patterns, because the enemies are far more aggressive and they're more boss enemies.
Okay.
And my understanding, based on everything else that I've heard about this, is that just continues. That the game is actually just incredibly difficult and it gets difficult by like steps.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really hard not to recommend it. Like, it's early access. I'm not sure what's not complete about it yet. I mean, I think that it just goes... I think they have all the early stuff unlocked, but you're probably not likely to get too far into it before they complete it. I think that they're pretty close. I don't know. Like,
Sure.
if you're scared off by early access, this doesn't seem to be too affected by it. It's not like a Starbound kind of thing where they're just going to erase all of your progress. But, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really good. Ben, you seem most curious about this at the beginning. Did I satisfy your curiosity about how this works?
I would have to play it to get the experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
Get
But yeah.
the funk.
Yeah, get in the groove.
Look at a video of it. I think it's a game that will carry over into videos. I considered streaming it, however, it would require way too much concentration. And whenever I stream stuff, I feel the need to talk a lot. So I would be very silent. And also, I'm bad at games. And I don't want people to see it, how bad I am. I mean, you guys want to button it up?
Sure.
That was level number 71. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And a thanks to Dennis for popping in for as long as he did. That is huge. You know, kids really, really young. And so it's probably going to be like that for the foreseeable immediate future, him popping in and out like that. But I am sure all of us are patient about that and understanding because dude had a kid. Silence.
The three people without children cannot comment on kids.
No. Well, other than to say, like, oh, it seems like a commitment. I don't know. That's why I don't do it. But let's look here. What can you do? What can you do? Well, there's the Facebook page, like we said. That's facebook.com/The Level Podcast. Also, leave us a rating or review on iTunes and tell your friends. Tweet at us. We'll say all of our names at the end there. The Duckfeed.tv account is just at Duckfeed.tv. If you want to holler at us that way on Twitter. Blah. And then Patreon. If you're going to be doing any back-to-school shopping, go to Duckfeed.tv/tipjar and use that link to buy any of your textbooks or back-to-school miscellaneous items, etc. We get a kickback from that. That is an affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and you get all of your stuff in the regular, timely fashion that you have come to expect from Amazon. It goes a long way towards supporting the efforts of the network. Guys, did I miss anything?
Just Dennis.
Yeah, I'm missing Dennis already. Dennis, can you come back? Yeah. All right. So, I am Cole Ross, at Cole Ross on Twitter.
I'm David Mysmith at Mysmith777 on Twitter.
I'm Ben Merkel at Merkelizer, also on Twitter.
And until next time, I actually haven't picked a title yet, but why don't you stay tuned after the closing music to hear us talk about it. All right, guys, here we go. This is the roster.
Okay.
You should spell out that title that you said earlier in the podcast. : ::::.
I need to go back and listen to it. I left a marker just in case. But here we go. A Tune in the Dark. I don't know if this is complete. An Evening? I forget. It was like an evening with something, but...
Oh, An Evening with Velvet Sundown?
Maybe. I felt like it was earlier than that. Fiesta-tastrophe. Ben Smiles. That has your name in it, Ben.
Yeah. I'm narcissistic. I like it.
No Such Thing as the Past. And Hills Silent. What do you guys think? I really don't have a strong opinion. I like Ben Smiles because it'll fake people out, but
Because I never smile.
What was the actual context for that?
You were talking about auto assault. How
Last name.
Yes.
yeah, the last name of things that don't exist, and Ben, you came out with that doozy of a joke.
Yes.
You could also just, yeah.
That also not to be that also would be one that would be like neat to mess around with.
What do you mean, Ben Smiles?
Yeah, create like an RPG with Ben Smiles and general puzzles.
General puzzles is.
I'm trying to figure him out.
Lieutenant Ben Smiles. There we go. Ben Smiles. It's the winner. Yeah.